Heya, cryptozens. Tonight's stories. eCash proposed in the U.S. House. It's 10 p.m. Pacific time. The date is March 28th, 2022. Welcome back to the Crypto Overnighter. I'm your host, Nick. The cover model for this podcast is Tex, and together we take a nightly look at the crypto, NFT, and metaverse space and the industry that surrounds it. We bring you new stories on familiar topics. And keep in mind, nothing in this show should ever be considered financial advice. So, like I said last night, spring is in the air. Another thing's in the air too. Politics. Pierre Poilievre is the Conservative candidate for Canadian Prime Minister. Trudeau's job. I'm sure it's on his mind what happened during the protests, because he's leaning into the whole Bitcoin and cryptocurrency thing. He reportedly said, "Government is ruining the Canadian dollar, so Canadians should have the freedom to use other money such as Bitcoin." Another thing he says is $400 billion in cash out of thin air. That's in reference to the quantitative easing that he believes is destroying the Canadian economy. He also said, quote, "Choice and competition can give Canadians better money and financial products. Not only that, but it can also let Canadians opt out of inflation with the ability to opt in to cryptocurrencies. It's time for Canadians to take back control of their money and their lives by making Canada the freest country on earth." Now, I'm not Canadian. I'm not even particularly nice. I do wish nothing but the best for the Canadian people, and I think this guy might be a good start. Now, before we get into tonight's stories, let's take a quick look at the markets. At the time of writing, the global crypto market cap is $2.12 trillion. That's up 1.23% in 24. The top 5 cryptos by market cap are Bitcoin up 1.18%, Ethereum up 2.11%, Tether, Binance Coin up 0.53%, and USDC. The global NFT market cap is up over $10.13 billion. It's down 1.26% on the day. The top 5 NFT collections by sales volume on OpenSea are World of Women Galaxy down 83%, Azuki down 35%, Bored Apes up 34%, Mutant Apes down 17%, Bapetiverse down 40%. Now keep in mind, some of these collections have some very volatile prices, so do your own research. eCash proposed in U.S. House. eCash, as proposed, is a hardware-secured, theoretically anonymous form of digital cash, which is a lot of words, but it's not very clear. So let's talk about what it's not. eCash is not a central bank digital coin. It's not a CBDC. Theoretically. It's also not a blockchain solution. It's literally tokens, electronic beads that live in your phone. And it's not coming from the Federal Reserve Bank. It's not even involved. It's called eCash Act, Electronic Currency and Secure Hardware Act. It was rolled out in the U.S. House of Representatives, and it's a different way of looking at what a digital currency might be. So this legislation calls for the Secretary of the Treasury to develop and pilot an electronic form of the U.S. dollar, one that's easy to use and one that doesn't exclude people who aren't technologically advanced, people who are economically marginalized. Representative Stephen Lynch is the chair of the FinTech Task Force in the HFSC, the House Financial Services Committee. Most of us have heard of that one, right? Well, he is also the primary sponsor for the eCash Act. According to Representative Lynch, it will maximize consumer protection and data privacy. So it's not on the blockchain, right? It's been issued by Treasury, not federal. So it's not a CBDC. In fact, get this, it doesn't even require the internet. It does all of these things. It has all of these characteristics so that it can mimic physical cash. It's designed to, quote, replicate the privacy-respecting features of physical cash. So that bit about the CDBC, it's important because it's not meant to replace the idea of a CDBC. According to Representative Lynch, the pilot project for eCash will, quote, complement and advance ongoing efforts undertaken by the Federal Reserve and President Biden to examine potential design and deployment options for a digital dollar. And remember when I said the internet isn't required? That's because there's no central bank to report back to. There's no digital ledger to keep up of any kind. It claims to offer more privacy and anonymity than any of the other government-sponsored digital coins to date. According to the bill, the goal is an electronic dollar, usable by the general public, that allows, quote, instantaneous, final, direct, peer-to-peer, offline transactions using secured hardware devices that do not require or involve subsequent or final settlement on or via a common or distributed ledger or any other approval or validation. So what's that mean? Well, here you go. Remember when I said it didn't require the internet? Here's why. You know how when you go to the store, you can pay for things at the register by tapping your phone on it? It's going to be something like that. Maybe it's some really short-range Bluetooth or a text messaging protocol, because remember, they said it had to work offline. So it requires something like a phone service or maybe Bluetooth. And then you might have like 3 different accounts on your phone. You'd have a banking account, maybe a credit card account, and then another account for your eCash. And yes, that's important because your eCash will live on your phone. If you want to go shopping and spend money in that manner, you're going to have to take it out of your banking account and put it into your eCash wallet. And you might not want to just transfer your whole paycheck to eCash because there's no ledger. Rohan Gray worked with Lynch on this legislation, and he said, quote, you're holding the money on your device. If you lose your device, you lose the money. That's the risk. Just like you lose your physical wallet on the train, you lose all the money inside the wallet. Remember what I said about no ledger? Yeah. So you transfer your cash to your eCash wallet and you lose that device, that money is just gone because you don't have an account somewhere. Nobody knows where that money is at. Now, that's also true with physical money. If you lose your leather wallet you've had since the 9th grade, you lose all the money inside that wallet. That is absolute fact. The difference is, I don't need a phone or some other hardware device to make cash work. And so, here's the problem I have with this. It doesn't actually solve a problem without introducing extra risk. Because there's still the risk of losing your money because you lost the container that the money's in. But I don't have to do anything special to use physical cash. I don't have to worry about a technical issue on my side or on the other party's side. And I wonder how this scheme is going to ferret out some counterfeiters. Because there's no ledger, there's no account. How are they going to be able to tell whose electronic money is valid and whose is not? There's no blockchain to follow transactions on. So I guess it sort of has a use case similar to physical cash. You only take a little bit out of the bank at a time. You leave most of your money in your account. The difference is you can only hope in this case that technology doesn't fail you. And that all assumes that there's not some extra technological scumbaggery going on. When was the last time you heard about a day where there was no hack or there was no scam? It seems like one comes around every other week. People are already out there looking for ways to steal your money. And then you want to put this technology on the same device that people add and remove apps from all day long? How long until apps get installed that compromise your eCash wallet? That same wallet There's no record of money going into or out of? In the bill, it talks about hardware secured. Does that mean the US government is going to get into the hardware manufacturing business? If not, who's going to certify the work of the third-party manufacturer? Who's going to guarantee that privacy? Let's say I'm a pretty confident coder. Can I write my own wallet and put it on the hardware of my choice, like Raspberry Pi or something? If not, if it's a sealed system, which means that we can't get involved with the guts of it in any way, how do we know the software works like they said it would? How do we know that the wallets aren't surreptitiously passing along a register of activities that the wallet is engaged in? How do we know that the third-party manufacturers haven't negligently left in some serious security flaws? How do we know that bad actors like North Korea, which is already financing its missiles off of stolen crypto, how do we know bad actors like that aren't putting in poison pill apps in the app stores trying to steal eCash? The fact is, I just don't see nearly enough in terms of benefits. Not enough to warrant the dangerous scheme like this poses, which is very different from both a CDBC and blockchain. You know, if I had to choose between eCash and CDBC, it's a tough fight. So, I still think it is an inferior product. But you decide. And that's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. So, tell me what you think. Are you a single issue voter? So that prime minister candidate. The only thing I know about the man is that he claims to be pro-crypto. Is that enough? Could I vote for someone just on that one issue? I don't know if I could. Could you? Tell me what you think. Send me an email at crypto.overnighter@gmail.com. That's crypto.overnighter@gmail.com. Oh, give Crypto in 5 Minutes a listen. We're up to 37 educational podcasts. 5 minutes to explain one concept in crypto. And until next time, may peace